Globally, the gender funding gap is a concern. In Africa, it is an emergency. In 2024, female CEOs in Africa secured just $48 million in funding, while male CEOs secured $2.2 billion. And for all female founding startups, they captured just 1% of total funding across Africa. 99% went to startups with at least one male founder. It's quite sad. Despite studies consistently showing that for every $1 invested in women-founded businesses, 78 cents are returned, while for men, only 31 cents are returned. Yet, the gap persists. This is an indictment of a system that systematically excludes women from financial ecosystems, crippling their ability to grow, create jobs, and contribute meaningfully to our collective development. And why the work Rising Tide Africa is doing isn't just important, it is life-saving. RTA, a dynamic women-led and women-focused investment platform, is fiercely dedicated to directly addressing the gender funding gap by providing crucial access to capital, tailored mentorship, and expansive networks, actively fostering economic inclusion and sustainable growth for women-led businesses across the continent. Their impact isn't just theoretical, it is tangible, visible, and deeply inspiring. From Bankly and Shotters in Nigeria, to Anchor in Ivory Coast, to Ose in Ghana, RTA has not just infused capital, they have mentored, facilitated critical access, and tirelessly expanded networks. They are paving the way and demonstrating a viable, profitable path forward for investing in women. But they can't do this alone. We all need to pitch in. Governments must do more in enacting, domesticating, and enforcing evidence-based policies, such as the Women's Economic Empowerment Policy. Civil society organizations must intensify their advocacy and efforts in getting more money into women's hands. And you and I must join communities like RTA and put our money where our mouth is. Bridging the gender gap goes beyond words. It involves action. Investing in women is not just a moral imperative, it is the single most strategic move we can make to unleash Africa's full economic potential. Let's make gender equality in finance a reality, transforming our continent one empowered woman at a time.
I mean, every person, whether you're a man, whatever pronoun you want, you were born by a woman.
Absolutely.
And everybody understands the value which, a woman brings. You give a woman something, she multiplies it. And that's exactly what you said about even in business, you give a woman something, she does. The concern I have is not a concern about the principle of the advocacy. It's about the precedent created by what happened to the Fearless Fund.
Okay.
Which was an initiative, similar initiative in the US, focused on women startups and all that and funding them. We know what happened to them. They got sued, and then the fund eventually had to shut down in the name of all this issue of DEI. And I think the court specifically said it was illegal because it was, targeting, it was unfair to, men, basically. It was basically, so maybe it's a question to you that I'm just hearing about the RTA. I didn't know about it until this, Is there a risk of something like that happening to them? I know they're Nigerian based, but do you think there's a risk that something like that can happen to them?
I would say Fearless Fund, the situation Fearless Fund passed through is an American problem. We don't have such issues in Africa yet. And I hope RTA will be able to have created as much impact before we get to that point, which I feel like it's still very far. We don't have laws around the kind of laws Americans have around diversity and inclusion, because even the government itself, they have gender-focused programs, they have gender-focused funds and all of that. So it's not a risk right now for RTA.
Okay.
So maybe because, let me pick up where Yinka left to say, I agree with the general principles, and I think any right-thinking African will agree with the general principles. But where I'm coming, where I want to come in from is, what are we actually doing to make this happen? I want to say that investment in women is like a little like investment in education. You are not going to see the results overnight.
Yeah.
Okay, it will take time. But we also know that just like education, we are not doing enough right now. It's clear. So it's also clear that on women issues, we are not doing enough to see the kind of inclusion you want to see. Because, for example, your example of CEOs receiving 1 billion versus so billion.
2.2 billion to 48 million.
How many female CEOs are there in the first place compared to male CEOs? That will tell you why maybe one will get
exclusion.
Yeah, that's one. Secondly, how many of the women are empowered to apply for some of these things? So it's about indignation or ethics. For example, as he gave the US example, some people can be angry about something, but it's though it sounds good, but it's not ethical. Sometimes something is ethical, but it doesn't sound good, and you'll be indignant. For example, why I'm asking how many women are applying, if you tell a financial institution that you have to clear at least 10% of female applications, and you have only 100, and they give only 10, while men, you have 1 million, all right? And you give 200,000. So you've actually not broken the law. 10 sounds insignificant, it will make you angry, but the bank has not done anything unethical. So we really need to find out if the back end work is actually being done. And that's where I like your call for CEOs to do more. And I think this issue of local government autonomy will also come in. Like, we have to start from the grassroots to empower women in order to be able to compete. It's about our ability to compete with the men as well.
Participate and compete.
Yeah. Well, I think men typically promise more. And investors are looking for large multiples of what, they're investing in. Yeah. So when they look at two options, the men's one may look more attractive. So I think by nurture, we raise women to be more conservative. They are raised to be wives of powerful men rather than powerful women themselves. And to think smaller, play a supportive role rather than being the leader, the main person. And it results in smaller dreams. So we dream smaller, typically, not everybody. And as a result, when you have two investments, they might be the same idea, and someone is telling you, well, I'm going to take over the whole world, with this idea. They don't want to say, no, just Nigeria or Africa. The person investing will say, let's go for the world. So I think we need to focus on how we are shaping women's minds to know that they can be anything. They don't need permission, and they should dream bigger. So the pool gets wider.
But this is really about equity at the end of the day, that we have 48 million to 2.2 billion. It's too wide a margin. So it's not something that we should explain away, like Ande did the other time, saying that, well, women don't go for it, more men go for it. I think we have a lot of women who go for it, but there are barriers to them hitting the mark. I think the world is just skewed in a way. The world of business is skewed to favor men more. And that's why I like what Rising Tide Africa is doing. I like that they're going Pan-Africa. And I know that they're giving women alternatives to traditional banking, where these bias against women is just unrelenting. So thank you to RTA for that. As we can see, the women are performing. You could see the Super Falcons, you could see the basketballers, you could everywhere. Just allow us to rule politically, not only in business. You can stop laughing.
They won't allow you to rule.
Because we are nurturers.
They won't allow you to rule.
We are nurturers. Better managers.
You have to take. You don't be allowed. You have to take it. Yeah, that's the way.
And yes, we're taking over the banks as well.
Yeah, and that's the spirit that you have to approach it. You have to be audacious, and that's what Wamaka is saying. You have to be audacious. You have to go in there and say, I'm going to do this regardless. Yeah. And that's the spirit.
We are, just give us more money.
Anyway, some call it investing in women. I call it strategic self-interest.
I like the sound of that.
At least you like
What do you call a commission that is swift to find a bank for a data breach, but drags its feet over the matter of an ongoing national identity data breach that is directly under its purview?